Alex, a man in his 40s, has always known how to savor the beauty of nature. Every morning, he wakes up early, prepares a fragrant cup of green tea, and steps out into his garden. A few years ago, he decided to transform his small garden into a true sanctuary, where he could nurture and care for the plants and flowers he cherished. He devoted considerable time and effort to making his garden flourish, from choosing the right soil to ensuring proper watering and fertilization. On a warm spring day, Alex suddenly found himself captivated by the vibrant beauty of the neighboring garden, that of his neighbor, Lisa. She was a cheerful woman, always dressed in colorful attire. Lisa's flower garden was bursting with life, showcasing a variety of blossoms, from brilliant roses to elegant orchids. The splendor of her garden left Alex feeling deflated, as if the achievements he had worked so hard to attain paled in comparison to the shimmering brilliance of Lisa's garden. Though Alex cherished his own garden, observing the vibrant flowers by the fence led him to inevitable comparisons. On numerous occasions, during the summer barbecues organized by the neighborhood, friends would praise Lisa's garden. They marveled at the diverse hues and the sweet fragrances emanating from the flowers surrounding them. Alex felt like a silent shadow amidst the celebrations, overwhelmed by a pang of loneliness and resentment. Before long, this concern transformed into an intense desire. He wanted to discover how Lisa had created such a vibrant garden. He wondered if she possessed some secret or special ingredients that he was unaware of. Was there a key hidden from him? In the following days, Alex became a silent observer of Lisa's garden. He began to take notes on her activities, from her watering techniques to the time she tended to her plants. His curiosity intensified as a question nagged at the back of his mind. Could it truly be that mere care and love for the soil were not enough? Finally, after several days of observation, Alex resolved that he needed a different approach to uncover the truth. He installed a mini camera, a discreet device that was not easily detectable, allowing him to capture everything that occurred in Lisa's garden. Each evening, Alex sat attentively by his computer screen, eagerly awaiting images transmitted from the camera. To his surprise, what he witnessed on the screen tightened his heart with anguish. The camera recorded everything. Lisa was not merely tending to her garden. She was secretly siphoning water from Alex's irrigation system. Watching her pull hoses through the fence into her own garden felt like a dagger wound to his back. Why was she doing this? This betrayal was utterly unacceptable. A storm of accumulated anger, intertwined with outrage and pain, raged within Alex's mind. He could not believe that a neighbor he had always respected could act in such a manner. Each time he recalled the scene, his heart felt heavy. But beyond his anger, what hurt Alex the most was the sense of betrayal from someone he had trusted. Unwilling to confront Lisa directly to avoid confrontation, Alex devised a secret plan. He decided to launch Operation Lime Rain, a scheme to create a sour rain intended to tarnish the beauty of Lisa's garden in a clear and deliberate manner. This idea sprang to his mind as an almost instinctive reaction, a way to express his grievance without the need for direct words. The most challenging aspect for Alex was not the destruction of Lisa's garden, but the growing realization that he was sinking into malicious actions. Despite knowing that revenge was not a virtuous path, the feeling of being wronged pushed him toward a decision that he found hard to resist. Alex gazed out the window, the dull sunlight casting a pallor over his garden, highlighting the blooming flowers against the blue sky. Yet within him brewed a tumult of emotions. Lisa's garden, once the object of his admiration, had now become a beautiful memory that he couldn't help but compare to his own. The vibrant colors and pleasant fragrances of her flowers made him feel as if he were living in a perfect painting, while he remained just an ordinary nature lover. After countless moments of feeling inadequate while gazing at Lisa's radiant garden, Alex resolved to uncover the truth. He had no doubt about the source of Lisa's floral beauty, but without sufficient evidence, these feelings would remain mere suspicions in his heart. Thus, powered by a mix of anxiety and courage, Alex decided to install a camera in his garden to secretly monitor Lisa's activities, hoping to discover what he truly desired. On that day, when the camera replayed footage of Lisa, Alex could hardly believe his eyes. The sight of her clandestinely drawing water from his irrigation system struck him like a shock. His heart ached with betrayal, and feelings of deceit washed over him. Until then, he had always considered himself a simple flower lover, a genuine nature enthusiast. Yet, the person he once admired had now turned into an enemy in his eyes. Alex sat in silence, his mind racing with thoughts of what to do next. Despite his anger, he didn't want to confront Lisa directly. The impending conflict felt overwhelming. Rather than have a face-to-face discussion, he told himself he should seek a more subtle form of retaliation, something that, at first glance, appeared moderate yet was inherently cruel. Thus, Operation Lime Rain was initiated. Alex's plan took shape vividly in his mind. Instead of fighting fair, he decided to turn Lisa's garden into a chaos-laden mess. One late evening, when the neighborhood was quiet, Alex set to work. He prepared mild acidic solutions to spray over Lisa's flowers, ensuring they would lose their natural beauty. Within him, satisfaction mingled with anxiety at the thought of Lisa's reaction afterward. The next morning, Lisa's planned festival unfolded, and indeed, it turned into a disaster for her. The wilting flowers with their bizarre hues left Lisa embarrassed before her friends and neighbors. Alex couldn't help but feel a flicker of delight at the sight. However, that joy quickly became overshadowed by worry. Would Jessica seek revenge on him? Alex's moment of peace was short-lived. Shortly thereafter, Lisa decided not to accept defeat and chose to sue him on charges of property damage. Alex felt stunned upon receiving the court notification, although this outcome didn't surprise him. The reality still left him flustered. However, the video footage from the camera became Alex's powerful weapon in this legal battle. The story intensified when Lisa continued scheming for revenge. She installed a larger irrigation system, causing concern among all the neighbors about safety and the implications of her actions. Alex could no longer sit idle and watch events unfold. He decided to escalate the matter to local authorities. The conflict between the two grew fiercer, both becoming increasingly tense and prepared to fight with utmost resolve. As tensions escalated, the HOA council decided to intervene. With the evidence Alex presented, Lisa's actions quickly became exposed. Before long, she was summoned to explain her behavior, and ultimately, Lisa was removed from her position as president of the association. The surrounding community felt relief as the tense atmosphere caused by her misdeeds dissipated. When the truth came to light, Lisa chose to sell her house and leave the neighborhood. Her departure brought a sense of relief to both Alex and the community. He felt the atmosphere around him lighten, and people began to engage in joyful interactions again. To celebrate this restoration, Alex organized a small party where everyone could share memories and revive the spirit of togetherness. Although the turmoil had passed, Alex couldn't escape the painful memories of the past. He began to keep a journal to record what he had experienced, not only the sorrows but also the lessons he had learned, so that each time he opened those pages, he would remember that life goes on and he needed to be stronger. Thus, in the time that followed, Alex began seeking new interests and engaging in community activities, from organic gardening to environmental protection initiatives. Through these efforts, he not only rediscovered himself, but also brought people closer together. New relationships formed helped him to live harmoniously, creating genuine bonds within the community. Finally, in a moment of peace, Alex realized that the difficulties he had endured had their reasons. They had taught him to cherish the good things and, more importantly, the strength of unity. Science indicates that happiness doesn't merely stem from having beautiful flowers, but also from sincere relationships and mutual support in the community. As life continued, Alex decided to remain committed to environmental protection activities, contributing his small part to preserving the beauty of the planet. His journey not only brought him joy, but also provided an opportunity for him and others to build a brighter future together. Under the blue sky, like today, Alex vowed to continue living wholeheartedly for good things and to make this world a place where everyone could share love and unity. Alex felt a surge of anger and disappointment swell within him upon discovering the truth about Lisa. Her secretive actions made him feel betrayed, as if all his efforts to nurture his own garden were merely a joke. To cope with this situation, Alex spent a considerable amount of time reflecting and devising a suitable method, not only to protect his self-esteem, but also to ensure that Lisa would not escape the consequences of her misdeeds easily. With his introverted personality, Alex always preferred to examine everything meticulously before taking action. He did not want to confront Lisa directly, as that could lead to a conflict he couldn't control. His mind was like a ticking clock, each gear spinning tightly, gradually forming the plan he dubbed Operation Lime Rain, a scheme that was not merely about revenge, but a psychological game between the two of them. Carefully mapping out every detail, Alex began researching how to create a solution that could sabotage Lisa's flower garden without leaving a trace. He delved into the types of plants, the colors of flowers, and the factors that influence their growth. The image of Lisa's vibrant flowers in his mind gradually took on the role of an antagonistic symbol, motivating his actions. Deep down, he felt half of him was doing something wrong, but the other half admired the nobility of nature and the beauty of what he had painstakingly cultivated. Once everything was in place, Alex set about executing his plan. The goal was to unleash a sour rain from a concoction he had prepared. Each time he harvested from his own garden, he would not only collect fruits but also utilize the natural ingredients that it offered. The pent-up emotions led him to decide to use those ingredients for a completely opposing purpose. The main ingredients in Alex's plan included lemon juice, vinegar, and several spices that he believed could negatively impact Lisa's flowers. After mixing them, he injected this solution into a drip irrigation system that he had hidden behind his house. The sheer exhilaration of tinkering with nature dispelled the anxieties in Alex's mind, making him feel like an artist creating a unique piece of art. As the grand festival day approached, Alex felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. This was the opportunity he had been waiting for, to witness his plan unfold. On the morning of the event, as the cheerful atmosphere began to blanket the street, Alex stood in his garden, eagerly awaiting the shock he had prepared for Lisa and the neighbors. Guests arrived, laughter and chatter surrounding them in anticipation. The festival was organized to celebrate the most beautiful gardens in the neighborhood. And of course, Lisa remained the center of attention, with her splendid garden in full bloom after months of care. Alex couldn't help but glance over at Lisa's plot, where the flowers were transforming the atmosphere with vibrant colors. As the sunlight gradually spread across the blooming flowers, Alex felt his heart race. The sour solution in Lisa's garden began to take effect. The once vibrant flowers grew pale and dull, gradually devolving into the chaos that Alex had anticipated. Witnessing this transformation, he felt an odd sense of joy, as if all the negative emotions he had bottled up were finally released. When Lisa's friends paused to take pictures, the atmosphere shifted dramatically. Instead of applause and praises for the garden's beauty, disappointed gazes and whispered criticisms began to circulate. Alex, positioned in the shadow of his own garden, felt a mix of pleasure and anxiety. Everything seemed to be unfolding according to plan. But in the midst of his joy, he wondered whether this act was truly worth it. As Lisa realized her garden had lost its former beauty and become a disaster, a sense of humiliation flooded her heart. The scrutinizing gazes from friends and the unkind whispers made her feel trapped in a prison. At this point, the plan seemed to have succeeded, but Alex began to sense that something was amiss. The image of his neighbor, a woman quietly tending her garden whom he had once admired, now morphed into that of a defeated figure, a woman in distress. These emotions spread within Alex, leading him to predict Lisa's subsequent reactions. Even though they might only be in the early stages of this psychological war, he knew that what had transpired was just the beginning of a daunting journey. The battle with Lisa wouldn't end here, it was only the start. Alex decided to execute the plan, Operation Lime Rain, with a mix of excitement and anger. He knew that this action was improper, but the feeling of betrayal had morphed into an unbridled rage, making it impossible for him to restrain himself. First, Alex needed to prepare the ingredients for the sour rain he had devised. In his heart, he told himself that Lisa's vibrant flowers would no longer glisten as they once did, but would turn into splotches of color tainted by this game. He resolved to mix a sour concoction of lemon, vinegar, and salt, hoping it would produce the effect he desired. Alex knew that if everything went according to plan, Lisa's flower garden would become a chaotic patch of colors no longer beautiful. As night fell, Alex stealthily carried out his plan. He was both anxious and apprehensive, constantly glancing around, fearing that his sounds might awaken someone. His heart raced as he carefully sprinkled the sour solution over the flowers he loved most, the beautiful roses and the bright sunflowers. In the silent atmosphere of the late night, the only sounds were the whispering wind and the thumping of Alex's heart in his chest. The next morning, the entire neighborhood woke up early, eagerly preparing for the flower festival that Lisa had organized. Alex was ready to observe from a distance, feeling an indescribable thrill as people flocked to Lisa's garden to admire the lush beauty. It abruptly transformed into an unrecognizable chaos. The once vibrant flowers were now a jumble of mismatched colors, bright and dark, clashing violently. The sour scent of vinegar and lemon lingered in the air, causing many to grimace. The festival took place in an atmosphere of unease. Lisa, unable to believe her eyes, stood amidst the chaotic garden, vibrant yet pitiful. Her expressions shifted constantly, from surprise to anger to embarrassment. Groups of friends shook their heads, pointing and laughing, which only deepened Lisa's distress. For Alex, those moments were a sweet revenge, but they also brought a sense of emptiness. However, the joy of victory was brief, as the pressure Alex had created began to weigh heavily on his mood. What he had previously viewed as a mere prank was now a significant shock to everyone involved. Alex could not shake the thought that his actions had caused serious consequences for another person. The gazes of neighbors, the criticism from Lisa's friends, all of it intensified the burden he felt more than ever. It is often said that when you live in darkness, true light only finds you when you dare to confront the truth. After the festival, Lisa did not take the shock lightly. She decided to sue Alex, accusing him of vandalizing her property. This legal battle would not be easy, and Alex knew he would need to prepare thoroughly to defend himself, faced with the lawsuit. Alex felt an increasing pressure in stark contrast to his initial pride. He decided to seek legal assistance and gather all evidence regarding Lisa's deceptive actions. The feeling of indignation had morphed into a conflict not just between two individuals, but a battle between ideals and reality. As time passed, Alex received continuous calls and messages from neighbors who had begun to side with Lisa. They could not accept such a tense atmosphere in the community, which made it even more challenging for Alex to decide how to respond. He understood he had gone too far, but his pride prevented him from backing down. Under pressure from all sides, Alex began to feel isolated. The beautiful memories of tending the garden together and celebrating past festivals had now become relics of the past. Since the incident, his neighbors had turned into watchers, scrutinizing every move he made. The atmosphere of the neighborhood was tainted by disdain, prying, and gossip. In the face of criticism and his own unraveling, Alex reflected on his actions and realized that the true value of life lies not in winning or losing, but in how one treats others. This legal battle was not merely about a lawsuit. It had become a confrontation between two different ways of life, selfishness versus humanity and respect. Alex understood that, ultimately, his actions had created irreparable fragments. He recognized the need to change what he had done, not out of fear of losing, but for the sake of his own values. The future awaited, and Alex knew that he needed to revolutionize his life. Sure. Here's the translation of your text into English. Although the feeling of victory still surged within Alex after carrying out Operation Lime Rain, thoughts about the consequences of this action engulfed his mind. Alex realized that success in revenge did not signify anything good. He felt regret for having to resort to extreme measures to deal with Lisa. There were moments when he wondered if there was another way that did not require reaching this point. The situation became even more serious when Lisa decided not to back down. She was known as a highly influential woman in the neighborhood, a former president of the prominent Homeowners Association HOA. People often viewed Lisa as a dynamic, confident woman who always wanted to create good things for the community. However, after being humiliated by the failed festival, the pain led to uncontrolled anger. Lisa quickly sought out a lawyer and initiated a lawsuit against Alex on grounds of personal property destruction. She built a case that aligned with her complaint, making everything seem much more serious in the eyes of the other residents. The legal battle erupted, drawing not only Alex's attention but also many others in the community. Before facing the lawsuit, Alex decided to protect himself by gathering all the evidence he could find. The video footage from cameras not only recorded Lisa's actions but also highlighted the secret she had used his watering water. These images would surely clarify the truth and affirm his innocence. Under the pressure of the impending legal battle, Alex felt an overwhelming anxiety. He not only had to defend his reputation, but also had to work to maintain the spirit of the community he had been part of. Although a part of him felt a sense of pride in having defeated Lisa in her machinations, the other part longed for more time to find a more peaceful resolution. The day of the court appearance was approaching like a storm, and Alex felt as if he were standing at a crossroads. He wanted to escape the spiral of conflict, but each time he thought of Lisa using his watering water without asking, anger surged again. This battle was no longer just between Alex and Lisa, but had become a symbol of the struggle between good and evil within their own community. Finally, the day of the trial arrived. Alex appeared in casual attire, feeling tense. The court was not merely a place to resolve disputes, but also a place to bring the truth to light. Other residents of the neighborhood, ranging from gentle to serious, Gathered to observe the trial, they wanted to see the truth unveiled but also hoped to witness a spirit of solidarity and goodwill between the parties. Lisa appeared with her head down, her once confident expression now replaced by insecurity. She argued that Alex's actions had irreparably harmed her reputation and property. Her voice was filled with determination, but amid her words, Alex sensed the fear and insecurity clearly present in her eyes. With the support of his lawyer, Alex addressed each piece of evidence systematically. Each video clip, each image presented in court put pressure on Lisa. The one thing Alex could not foresee was the inherent weakness within Lisa. At that moment, he was not only the accused, but also a witness to the collapse of a once revered persona. This legal battle had evolved beyond a matter between two individuals. It had become a source of extensive debate among the neighborhood residents. Some stood by Alex, while many defended Lisa due to the positive impacts she had previously created. Then, after many tense minutes of questioning, Alex finally expressed his thoughts. He did not merely want to protect himself. He wanted everyone to understand that resorting to hatred and revenge was not the solution. I only hope that we can work together to make this community better instead of fighting one another. He concluded with sincerity, moving many present in the courtroom. As the court delivered its verdict, the entire neighborhood seemed to hold its breath in anticipation. The surprising ruling was that Lisa had been removed from her position as HOA president due to violations of HOA laws. Facing her lawyer, Mark, Lisa's expression showed no remorse, but rather seemed to be fleeing from all her mistakes. This was a crucial turning point. Alex saw in the dim lights of the courtroom that the respect of those around him had been restored. Yet, part of him could not help but feel sorrow for Lisa, a woman of high self-esteem, but blinded by petty rivalries. Afterward, silence enveloped the neighborhood. There were sympathetic glances, and murmurs echoed around. Yet, life continued as if nothing had happened. Alex knew that, although this was a victory, that very victory made him reflect on the consequences of conflict and the best way to maintain peace among people living together. Unable to withstand the challenge posed by Alex, Lisa decided to increase the pressure, proving that she was not someone easily defeated. Rather than shying away, she began preparing for an actual battle with bold strategies. First, Lisa installed a new plumbing system, ensuring that her garden was not only vibrant, but also a notch above Alex's garden. This move not only demonstrated that she could remain resilient despite challenges, but it also struck at Alex's pride, who had once thought he held all the advantages. This irrigation system was modern, automatically adjusting the water supply according to different plant types, and could even be controlled remotely via smartphone. Lisa could sit indoors, monitoring every drop of water nourishing her garden while sipping tea, while Alex scurried about trying to protect his rain-battered garden. At the same time, upon hearing about similar actions from a neighboring household, Lisa skillfully orchestrated social gatherings around the neighborhood, drawing her neighbors into discussions about irrigation systems. She hosted BBQ parties where conversations gravitated towards creating a new consensus regarding irrigation practices. Little did anyone know that behind the smiles and laughter, Lisa was quietly influencing community sentiment to view Alex with biased eyes. At these parties, Lisa not only deftly asserted her viewpoints, but also utilized her communication skills to bond with other neighbors. People began to view Alex with suspicion, believing he was even more negative than what they had previously known. To them, Alex was not just a plant enthusiast. He was someone with an unpleasant approach to care, and who would not accept the beauty of others. On the other hand, Lisa gradually emerged as a patron of beauty and creativity, making the choice between the two increasingly difficult. When Alex discovered these events unfolding, He felt cornered. His pride and respect still thrived within him, but what Lisa had cleverly revealed had gradually diminished his strength and resolve. The distraction tactics Lisa employed made Alex feel increasingly isolated and weary in his efforts to defend his integrity. However, in his impatience, Alex was not without a plan for counterattack. He began to carry out carefully laid plans in secrecy. Preparing for an unpredictable strike, Alex decided to meet with some residents whom he knew supported him and were not swayed by Lisa's influence. He initiated a community survey to assess people's genuine thoughts about the behaviors Lisa had exhibited recently. The results surprised Alex. Many people actually disagreed with Lisa's approach, her parties, and her somewhat impatient rhetoric. They were taken aback to learn that Lisa was not merely appreciating beauty, but had also engaged in many unfair actions to maintain her position as the best in everyone's eyes. Gradually, doubts about Lisa's behaviors began to surface. Over time, the struggle between these two characters became the focal point of the entire neighborhood, as everyone eagerly followed the unfolding events. Resembling a battle between good and evil, every move by Alex and Lisa became a noteworthy tale, enriching the ambiance with excitement. Would Alex's actions lead to the restoration of fairness within the community, or would Lisa turn these troubles into a new tool for increasing her influence? The conflict was not merely between the two. It evolved into a struggle for justice and fairness, a lesson for everyone in the neighborhood to seek the right and truest path. Would they find harmony amidst their disagreements, or would they sink deeper into contention? This tension seemed to escalate, accompanied by the mixed emotions felt by each community member. In this lesson, both Alex and Lisa would realize that small actions can have significant repercussions, and that somewhere between rivalry and competition lies the consciousness and values we hold for our surrounding community. Respect, empathy, and sharing may very well be the keys to resolving this tragedy. But before finding that resolution, could Alex and Lisa maintain the clarity to see that their actions affected more than just a gardening contest? Gradually, Lisa's shady behaviors came to light, and soon after, the Homeowners Association (HOA) began to take notice of the unusual ways she tended to her garden. The residents of the neighborhood, who had long felt uneasy about Lisa's attitude, decided that they would no longer remain silent. They collectively gathered evidence, from images recorded by Alex's security camera to testimonies from other neighbors, who had also witnessed her unseemly actions. Each individual had their own story, a significant piece of the larger puzzle concerning the manipulation, deceit, and disrespect that Lisa had shown to the community. As the HOA proceeded with its investigation, Alex felt a sense of pride that his efforts had not been in vain. He had retained the footage from his camera, not merely as evidence of illegal water usage, but also documenting the hostile behaviors Lisa had exhibited towards the residents. It was not just an issue of watering plants, it was about the lack of goodwill in neighborly relations, which had ignited a flame of outrage within the community. During an HOA meeting held at a local cafe, residents gathered and presented noteworthy details about Lisa. The atmosphere in the room was taut like a guitar string. With everyone awaiting the board's decision, Alex was also present in the audience, his heart racing with a mix of excitement and anxiety. As the board began to present arguments and evidence, it became clear that the voice of the community was strong enough to put Lisa in a difficult position. "We cannot deny that Lisa has violated the rules and regulations of this neighborhood," one board member stated emphatically, emphasizing each word. Her actions not only directly affected Alex, but have also caused confusion and division within the community. "We cannot tolerate those who do not respect the rules of our home." Those words created a wave of agreement in the meeting room. Alex felt a surge of emotions. Not only satisfaction, but also a sense of sorrow for Lisa. Over the past few months, their relationship had turned into an endless battle. And now, the truth was being laid bare, which was uncomfortable for both sides. Feeling the pressure of the situation, Lisa decided to make a bold move. She invited a well-known lawyer, whom she had known for a long time, to defend her. The legal battle between Lisa and Alex heated up more than ever. Ultimately, Lisa was required to testify before the HOA and present her arguments. On that day, she was astonished to find that her neighbors were prepared to confront her and present clear evidence that could not be disputed. Everyone should never trust Alex, Lisa said in a voice that was anxious yet filled with confidence. I simply used a water source that we all have the right to use. Why should I live in fear and be criticized for just a few drops of water? This statement left all the community members feeling irritated. Everyone understood that the issue was not just about irrigation. What concerned them was Lisa's attitude, the disrespect she had shown towards their efforts and feelings. Finally, after weeks of intense discussions, the HOA reached a decision. They voted and concluded that Lisa's actions were unacceptable. She was heavily penalized not only for her blatant violations, but also for causing division within the community. The slogan of unity and mutual respect had failed to thrive in the atmosphere Lisa had created. When the board officially announced its decision to remove Lisa from her position as president, a wave of excitement swept through the room. Alex felt the anxiety and tension within him begin to dissipate. The community had long awaited this moment, and at last, they could see the light at the end of the tunnel. Lisa, no longer in charge, had become like a ghost, quietly relinquishing her position. This monumental failure had a profound effect on Lisa. She felt alone among the neighbors she had previously thought cared for her. Feelings of shame, anxiety, and the loss of self-esteem drove her to a decision that many did not expect. She decided to sell her house and leave. Alex and the neighborhood residents noticed that the atmosphere became lighter, as if a dark mist had been dispelled, leaving behind brilliant rays of sunshine. People began to gather, holding small parties to celebrate this revival. They exchanged stories, laughed, and shared joyful moments, something that had been difficult to achieve amidst the pervasive tensions. For Alex, this was not just a personal victory, but also a restoration of the community. They had collectively stood up against wrongdoing, establishing a strong and united front. The story of Alex and Lisa conveyed a powerful message that respect and unity are the keys to overcoming adversity, building a stronger and more connected community. Lisa decided to sell her house and leave the neighborhood, and this news quickly spread throughout the community. People were surprised, somewhat taken aback to see signs of her departure. The tense atmosphere gradually gave way to a sense of relief, as if a heavy cloud had lifted, leaving the sky clear and bright. Alex felt a mix of emotions. Throughout the time of conflict with Lisa, he had faced a great deal of stress, but now, as she was leaving, he couldn't help but reflect on what had happened. He and the community had gone through a challenging journey, but in the end, they triumphed not only by eliminating a source of disruption, but also through their strong solidarity. Each resident of the neighborhood had come together to recover, perhaps in ways they had never imagined. A small party was organized in the park, where people could gather, chat, and feel the connection among them. The scene was beautiful smiles, laughter ringing out, and lively voices. Everyone brought food and drinks, sharing stories from earlier days. Before the events with Lisa unfolded, standing amidst the warm and cozy atmosphere, Alex realized that he was not just a solitary individual in this community, but truly a part of a large family. He felt proud to see everyone cheerful. Having overcome a tough period to return to unity, a neighbor, Mrs. Mary, approached him and said, "Thank you, Alex, for keeping us together. Without you, we might not have recognized the strength of this friendship." Hearing those words warmed Alex's heart. He didn't want to be the hero of this story. He truly just wanted things to go back to how they were. But what had transpired taught him a valuable lesson about the meaning of community, mutual respect, and the power of standing up for what is right. As community members engaged in fun activities together, Alex also began to realize that gardening was not merely a personal hobby, but a way to bring people together. He restarted his garden, but this time, not just to care for the plants, but to create a shared space for everyone. He began planning a community garden where all residents could participate. Alex shared his idea at the party, and his enthusiasm inspired many others. They compiled a list of plants they wanted to grow and mapped out each stage of the project. It was a connecting activity that excited everyone, from little kids to adults, all displaying their eagerness. As time passed, the community garden began to take shape. Every week, people gathered to sow seeds, water plants, and nurture the sprouts. The garden became not only a place to grow vegetables, but also a space for relaxation, conversation, and sharing everyday stories. Alex truly felt that it had become the heart of the community, uniting everyone. The warm atmosphere of those afternoons spent caring for the greenery, the smiles on each member's face, one by one, all carried deep significance. Alex couldn't help but feel proud of the achievements they had built together. They weren't just planting crops. They were genuinely establishing new relationships and creating beautiful memories in their lives. The story of Lisa became a lesson not just for Alex, but for everyone. It reminded them to cherish what they had, and that a strong community often thrives on unity and respect. Alex realized that what mattered was not just the beautiful flowers each person planted, but also how they cared, spent time, and put effort into each other. When he saw the vibrant flowers blooming in the community garden, Alex's heart filled with hope. He couldn't wait to see where these wonderful things would lead the community in the future. From the lessons of the past, he understood that solidarity and mutual respect would always be the keys to overcoming any challenges life might present. Alex resolved to continue his journey, not just within the garden, but also in the hearts of the neighborhood residents. He hoped to spread these positive messages to future generations, helping them understand that together they could overcome any difficulties. Thus, from division, they had discovered the strength of unity, and from that bond, a bright future awaited them. The story of the Karen flower is not merely a simple narrative, but carries a powerful message about the spirit of solidarity and connection within the community. In an era where people seem to grow increasingly distant and primarily concerned with personal gain, this story reminds us of the values of sharing and respect among neighbors, friends, and even enemies. When Alex confronted Lisa, it was not just a battle of flowers and plants, but a struggle encompassing ethical and personal values. By covertly taking water from Alex's irrigation system, Lisa exposed her own weaknesses, dishonesty, and a sense of complacency. This also illustrates that sometimes outward appearances do not reflect the true worth of a person. Although Lisa's garden was stunning, deep down, she chose to harm others to achieve her desires. Through his initial actions, Alex unveiled a different aspect of the conflict acceptance that transpired not only within himself, but within the community as well. Other neighbors, though not directly involved in this battle, also gradually recognized that acceptance and kindness are the keys to maintaining a harmonious living environment. Life in the neighborhood is not merely about coexisting, but about sharing joys, sorrows, and challenges together. When Alex initiated Operation Lime Rain, it was not just an act of revenge, but a manifestation of the crisis he was facing. His desire to prove his worth through competition temporarily led him astray. However, gradually, Lisa's actions posed challenges for Alex, compelling him to reconsider his motivations. The battles we engage in are not solely about winning or losing, but also about testing our personal life ideals. As the situation escalated to the point of litigation, Alex realized that, beyond defending his property and personal honor, he bore a greater responsibility safeguarding the values he believed in. Those within the community rallied behind Alex not only out of friendship, but also for the sake of justice. They began to wonder whether the community they lived in was truly safe when one individual engaged in wrongful behavior. This demonstrated that the respect and connection they held for one another had never faded. Rather, it was reinforced through challenging situations. The increasing conflict brought about repercussions that both Alex and Lisa had not foreseen. Lisa, despite her vengeful intentions, had unwittingly created a trap for herself. Her actions led her not only to lose her position but also to forfeit the respect of those around her. Every malicious act comes with its price, and the cost Lisa had to pay was the relationships and respect she had destroyed. This highlights an important truth. Those who live outside the boundaries of honesty and compassion will ultimately distance themselves from the acceptance and love of the community. At the conclusion of the story, Lisa's departure was not merely a sign of a new chapter in Alex's life, but also an opportunity for the entire community to rejuvenate and bond more strongly. Lisa's farewell left a void, but it was not an empty space. It was a chance for renewal. New relationships were formed, and Alex became a unifying force, helping people reconnect after the fractures. Ultimately, the story leads us to the message that unity is not merely an ideal value, but a necessary practice in daily life to foster a beautiful community. Mutual respect and a spirit of sharing are essential. When every individual feels loved and respected, they are willing to contribute to those around them and create a vibrant and enriching living environment. We should also remember that painful experiences are never in vain. They impart valuable lessons of patience, friendship, and ethics in life to Alex and his neighbors. Alex's subsequent steps not only contribute to his personal growth, but also signify a commitment to a more sustainable future for the community he lives in. The story culminates in a profound humanitarian message, reminding us that love and connection are always invaluable treasures in life. Alex often felt trapped by the painful memories of his conflict with Lisa. Whenever he stepped out into the garden, the vivid image of his neighbor's flower garden would flash through his mind, not just a mark of a girl eager to show off, but a symbol of the jealousy he had yet to cultivate and comprehend. It was those moments that made Alex feel unsteady, as if he was still ensnared in a never-ending battle. On beautiful afternoons, when the bright sunlight streamed down into the garden, Alex would sit by the window. Looking outside, a gentle breeze swept by, carrying the scent of flowers and herbs, yet his heart felt empty. Waves of anger and resentment surged within him whenever he thought about the schemes Lisa had woven to hurt him. He understood that if he continued letting these memories dominate him, he would never find peace. To release these thick emotions, Alex began to keep a journal. The blank pages became his confidants, listening to every distress he expressed. Each night, before going to bed, he took the time to record what he had experienced, from the feeling of disillusionment when discovering Lisa's behavior to those seemingly sweet moments of victory, which were tinged with the bitter flavor of loss. Writing had become a balm for his soul, helping him become more aware of his feelings and discover meaning in what had transpired. In every line, Alex not only documented events but also conveyed the emotions and fleeting thoughts within his soul. He expressed his loneliness, his wounds, and his vulnerabilities. The words became a bridge between the present and the past, assisting him in turning the pages of his memories and reflecting on the lessons life had presented. Sometimes he wondered if it was indeed Lisa's jealousy that helped him uncover the hidden strength within himself. Gradually, by jotting down stories on paper, Alex realized that the suffering from his conflict with Lisa had led to his personal growth. Those painful moments had deepened his connection with nature, with the community, and within himself. He became captivated by how each flower, each pot of plants had its own unique story. Unrelated to jealousy or envy, the cheerful images of blooming flora gradually replaced the gloom in his heart. Alex made the decision that he could not allow the past to overshadow the present. He began to seek out new hobbies, activities that brought him joy. Organic gardening became an essential passion in his life. On idle afternoons, he would tend to the garden, watering and nurturing every green sprout. Alex found peace in caring for the plants, witnessing their growth day by day and watching them blossom. Moreover, this endeavor helped him reconnect with the neighbors around him, those who had been affected by the conflict between him and Lisa. Every time he hosted small gatherings in the garden, Alex gradually became the focal point of the community. Families came to join together. Children played and laughed, and cheerful conversations created an atmosphere of warmth. Alex no longer felt alone. Rather, he sensed a close bond among everyone in the neighborhood. Under the golden sun, they created memorable moments together, allowing every emotional wound to heal gradually. Life became more colorful and vibrant every day. Alex realized that the past conflicts were not the end, but rather a bridge to meaningful connections. In his heart, the painful memories still existed, but now they were no longer burdensome. They were valuable lessons. Alex understood that without challenges, he might never have found the strength to overcome. Ultimately, Alex decided that he would not stop here. He planned to engage in environmental protection activities, helping the community. From small actions like recycling to organizing discussions about safeguarding nature and urging everyone to work together to preserve their living environment. He nurtured a grand dream of transforming his small garden into a shared space where everyone could experience the gifts of nature. The legacy from his conflict with Lisa was not just painful memories. It also became a powerful source of inspiration for Alex to continue his path. He found light in what seemed extinguished and realized that life was always filled with hope and potential. In the end, Alex's story, from tears to light, ended not just with a complete resolution but opened up a new journey, where he became a sower of love and connection for all those around him. After Lisa left the neighborhood, Alex felt as if a great burden had been lifted from his shoulders. A sense of tranquility enveloped him, yet it was tinged with a faint sorrow. The mixed emotions prompted him to reflect on what had transpired and the valuable lessons learned from this unintended conflict. Alex understood that everything happens for a reason, and Lisa's departure had opened a new door for him. In the early days following Lisa's move, Alex spent considerable time in contemplation. He realized that he had been caught in a whirlwind of conflict and resentment, which not only made his life tense but also hindered his ability to enjoy the simplest pleasures. Despite recognizing that his relationship with Lisa had become strained and irreparable, he felt the need to find a way to nourish himself and heal his soul. One beautiful morning, Alex decided to venture into the garden, taking in the lush greenery he'd tended to for months. The peaceful feeling of this place reminded him of why he had loved gardening so much. Gardening was not merely a hobby, it was also a journey of self-discovery. He wondered if the pain from his struggles with Lisa had caused him to forget the pure joy that plants can bring. On his path to recovery, Alex began to engage more with community activities, attending gatherings, fairs, and other events in the neighborhood opened up new relationships for him. There, he met many like-minded people who shared a passion for nature. From dedicated gardeners to environmental advocates, witnessing the enthusiasm and fervor in their eyes, Alex felt as if he had found a source of positive energy for his own life. Alex found himself increasingly drawn to organic gardening. He learned how to grow plants without chemicals, to use organic fertilizers, and to care for local plant varieties. In the beginning, he faced numerous setbacks in his gardening efforts, but each failure imparted valuable lessons. There were times when his hard work did not yield the expected results, plants succumbed to pests, or flowers failed to bloom in season. Nonetheless, this did not discourage him. Rather, it fueled his patience and determination. Through the signals of his new life, Alex understood that gardening was not solely about planting seeds. It was also about connecting with nature and learning the values of patience and resilience. Each seed he planted, each sprout that emerged from the soil, represented healing and rebirth. One evening, during a community gather that Alex organized, he felt the warmth and friendliness radiating in the air. People shared stories and experiences from their gardening adventures, and he felt a deeper connection with each of them. The laughter, music, and the gentle handling of each potted plant created a vibrant and lively tapestry. Alex began to get involved with environmental protection projects in the neighborhood. He participated in cleanup activities, planted trees, and organized gatherings focused on educating about the importance of protecting nature. Not only did he have passion, but he also spread the message of the importance of a united community taking care of their shared space. These new connections helped him discover strength in solidarity and the understanding that not just an individual, but a community could enact positive change for the environment, not merely a gardener. Alex had become an inspiration to those around him. He frequently hosted small workshops on how to plant trees, care for an organic garden, and protect the environment. These workshops not only attracted the interest of the neighborhood residents, but also became a space where multiple generations, grandparents, parents, and children could connect. Everyone could participate, share experiences, and learn from one another. As summer passed, Alex had accomplished many meaningful things for the community. He felt the changes he helped create, not only in terms of a greener environment, but also in fostering a sense of togetherness and shared responsibility. The plants he had cultivated with his neighbors not only beautified the living area, but also symbolized unity and the relentless efforts of every community member. The wounds from his conflict with Lisa had healed, and now Alex found joy in living and making those around him happy. On this new path, as the painful memories faded, Alex stepped into a brighter future. He realized that the hardships he'd experienced not only helped him grow, but also nurtured his love for nature and his sense of responsibility to the community. Each day was lived to the fullest, and every new relationship became a seed for a bright future, where love and unity would continue to flourish. In the end, when reflecting on all that he had gone through, Alex not only felt a sense of relief, but also realized that it was these very challenges that had helped him grow. Sitting in his garden, where he had spent so many days nurturing it, he could feel the breath of nature and the beauty of life. The blooming flowers stood as a testament to vitality, a symbol of the strength that comes from perseverance. The memories of the conflicts with Lisa, though painful, transformed into valuable lessons. He understood that in life, things do not always go according to plan. At times, others may disappoint us. But what matters most is how we respond and learn from those experiences. Maturity arises not only from success, but also from failure. Alex had the opportunity to experience both. As time passed, the wounds in Alex's heart began to heal gradually. He started to fill the void left by Lisa with more positive activities. Instead of merely tending to his own garden, he found joy in organic gardening. Those moments spent sinking his hands into the soil, breathing in the fresh air, and connecting with nature helped him discover his inner strength. Alex became an advocate for a sustainable gardening movement within the community, encouraging everyone to join together to protect their living environment. The gardening gathering sparked not only passion, but also created a space for people to connect and share experiences. Alex organized small classes on how to plant trees, care for ornamental plants, and use organic fertilizers. Not only did he help others, but he also realized that sharing knowledge made the community more bonded. Each time he saw the joyful smiles on the faces of participants, he felt their lives were gradually improving. Alex also participated in other community projects, such as neighborhood cleanups, tree planting, and upgrading public spaces. His involvement not only brought benefits to the environment, but also fostered a strong movement within the community. People began to recognize the importance of coming together, and slowly but surely, the spirit of solidarity was revived. Some of those who once stood by Lisa changed their attitudes. They witnessed the positive changes Alex brought to the neighborhood and decided to get involved. It was a turning point. As the division between them was no longer, they realized they all shared a common goal, a peaceful and beautiful home. Gradually, Alex's transformation began to spread to others in the area. They started to reestablish bonding activities, like organizing farmers' markets where everyone could mingle and buy locally grown products. Laughter and lively conversations replaced the contentious exchanges of the past. Alex found joy in watching children run around the lush gardens, each day growing a little more. Though the earth always needed care and nurturing, what mattered more were the relationships and solidarity he cultivated. Alex realized that life was not just about making oneself happy, but also existing in the joy and happiness of others. Indeed, unity and compassion held a greater power than anything else as the flowers in the garden blossomed. Alex not only witnessed the resilience of nature, but also felt the light of hope. He began to accept what had happened with Lisa and understood that, although failure could lead to pain, they made us stronger. Life always had its twists and turns, and sometimes we needed to go through the darkness to see the light. 2 years passed, and Alex had become a leader in the community, not because of power, but because of the respect he had earned. He became the one who connected people, not just through flowers and greenery, but through love and passion. In the eyes of his neighbors, Alex was no longer just a nature lover. He had become a role model of resilience, determination, and unity. Ultimately, Alex realized that he did not just want to protect the environment, but also wanted to safeguard the spiritual values of his community. He resolved to continue participating in environmental protection activities while actively calling on those around him to contribute to building a better future for the entire neighborhood. The adversities he had faced had helped him uncover his inner strength and sense of purpose. Alex understood that every individual could make a difference, and even a small action could transform an entire community. His journey was not merely a battle against discomfort, but also a quest for harmony, togetherness, and compassion. Alex's story did not simply conclude with a positive outlook for the future. It encouraged us to always believe in the power of community and the ability to create goodness even from life's most challenging moments.